So XRP has been in a correction over the past couple of weeks, and during this correction, I've been tracking a WXY structure where it's possible that XRP could reach anywhere between $2.35 to $2.52. And in my previous update, I mentioned how I was tracking this internal WXY structure, and the short-term target was this range between $2.71 to $2.78. As you can see that we ended up tapping into that region just about when we ended up reaching $2.78.26. And since then, we saw a short pump to the upside, followed by another push to the downside where we breached past this level here. And at the same time, we breached past this key level at $2.72.8. And us breaching past this level confirmed the WXY structure that I was tracking. And yeah, it's very much possible that we go slightly deeper towards this range. But on the flip side, it's possible that we ended up completing the corrective move to the downside and we could see a reversal. And reason being is because it's possible that rather than the Y wave bottoming out at this level, instead we could have bottomed out at this level, which sits at $2.69.75. And this Y wave would then be made up of an internal WXY structure, where this move to the downside would be the W wave, this would be the X wave, and this would be the Y wave. So if I bring in the fib tool just to see if this structure meets the requirements. So if I bring this to the right position, and so yeah, you can see that we ended up tapping into that typical range for the Y wave, which is anywhere between 1 to 1.226. And so yeah, it's very much possible that we ended up completing the corrective move to the downside and we see that reversal to the upside. But for us to be bullish, what we need is for the price of XRP to breach past the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA. And from then on, we need to retest this level here. And that level sits at $3.38.25. And on the flip side, it's possible that we are still slightly bearish and we could see a deeper corrective move to the downside made up of a WXY structure. And so, yeah, we could have bottomed out at this level here that I set out previously. And this pump to the upside could then form the X wave and we could be within the Y wave right now. And so in essence, this structure here would form the W wave. And this pump to the upside would form the X wave and we could be within the Y wave right now, where this Y wave could then tap into this region. And this Y wave would also have to be made up of an internal WXY structure, where this here would be the W wave, this would be the X wave where we got rejected at the 200 EMA, and then we see another push to the downside where we can then begin to track the wave Y. And you can see that within this W wave, we had another internal WXY structure. So very quickly, if I bring in the fib tool and bring this to $3.08. And so you can see that we just about extended beyond the 1.226 level, but we failed to retrace towards the 1.618 level, which tells me that this move to the downside is corrective rather than impulsive. And so, yeah, the next key target would be the 1 to 1.226 retrace level of the W wave. And so once again, if I bring in the fib tool and bring this to the local top at $2.86.67. And so, yeah, you can see that this target also sits within this region that I marked out previously. And so XRP could reach anywhere between $2.40 to $2.49. And so, yeah, there is still a little bit more room to the downside. And us actually getting rejected at the 200 DMA is slightly bearish. And you can see that, of course, the bears have the momentum as it stands at the moment. And so, yeah, there is still some further confirmation that we need to determine if whether or not we are bullish or bearish. The bullish signal would be for XRP to break out and we breach past the 200 DMA and the 50 MA, and then we retest this level here at $3.38.25. The bearish signal would be for that continuation to the downside where we breach past this level here. And if we do so, then it's highly likely that we then tap into this range. And very quickly, if I go in the weekly chart, if I zoom out, what you can see is I've been tracking a WXY structure, and it looks like we are still within this Y wave. And I'm tracking a 5-wave structure as it stands right now, where it's possible that we are within this 5th wave. And I'm looking at for this fifth wave to tap into this region between $4.06 to $5.43. And for that to happen, this fifth wave will have to be made up of 5 waves. So essentially I'm looking at for this move here to be the wave 1 and for this to be the wave 2. And then the wave 3 will have to reach this smaller target here. And then we see a wave 4 and a wave 5 play out where, of course, that fifth wave will then tap into this region. And so yeah, it's possible that we are still within this third wave, which will also have to be made up of an internal 5-wave structure, where it's possible that this recent move to the downside would form the wave 4. And then we see a wave 5 play out, which would then complete this third wave. And then shortly after, we'll then see the wave 4 and 5 play out in the next few weeks or months. And for that structure to be valid, what we need is for the price of XRP to not breach past this level here, which is the wave 1 or the wave 2 origin. And if it does so, then that would then invalidate this 5-wave structure. And instead, what we'll have forming is another structure. But we don't really know what that structure will be. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come if we were to breach past that level. And so, yeah, that's just my update on XRP. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit the like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.